Good morning, brothers and sisters, and my friends from all over the world. This morning we are going to talk about the fourth universal truth. The fourth universal truth is that we have to keep our mind focused on the goal of evolutionary heights, evolutionary achievements, and evolutionary divine nature. How could we do that? We have to keep our mind anchored very firmly in the feeling and attitude of a custodian. The time we practice the attitude of ownership on earth, my dear friends, believe me, our mind becomes so possessive. This is the greatest problem of the human mind, and also it is the greatest quality which helps us also, because our mind can concentrate and can become possessive about any attitude. And that's the reason the fundamentalism, the terrorism, the religious bigotry, and all kind of problems, all the evils spring out of this feeling of possessiveness. Because once the human mind picks up anything, it says, I hold on to that. That's his problem. So what we have to do? We have to keep our mind very firmly anchored to the ground, chained to that attitude of renunciation. We have to practice absolute renunciation within the internal attitude. It's not so important to practice so much outside the renunciation, because if we practice renunciation outside, then we may become the victim of escapism. We may become the victim of indifference to the material world, which is also suicidal and which has happened to many traditions of wisdom. So what we are going to do today, we are going to talk about the attitude of custodianship. And through the attitude of custodianship, we are going to practice the total renunciation, total non-attachment. In the old times, the wisdom tradition of all the religions, including the wisdom tradition of India, that there had been the people and the saints and the great prophets and everybody talking about how to discard, how to discourage the feeling, the possessiveness of body, human body. And I think that was a wrong track. And it was such a wrong track that we became the escapist, the fatalist. How could we deny the truth of Mother Nature, which has worked out the evolutionary truth, the evolutionary excellence through human body? How could we say that human body is not important and it's a bag of dirt, it's a bag of, many say, they usually the saints say, I don't want to talk about those kind of words where they say it's a bag of shit or it's a bag of just dirt. My dear friends, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do body bashing. And there had been thousands and thousands of years of body bashing, where every other person came around and said, just don't be so possessive about the body. But what's the problem? We have to practice our aim and our goal is to practice renunciation, because we need to practice the attitude of renunciation to keep our mind firmly anchored in the universal empathy and universal goodwill. And it is not possible without practicing the attitude of renunciation. So in old times we used to do it through body bathing and throw away the carnal desires, throw away the body, throw away this. We don't need to do that. We can practice renunciation through the attitude of custodianship. Now let's say that I'm not the owner here. And that's honest feeling. We are not the owners because we did not create planet Earth. We are the creation of planet Earth and its biosphere. So how could I say the earth belongs to me? I'm the owner. The water belongs to me. The air belongs to me. The air doesn't belong to any nation. It belongs to the humanity. It belongs to all the sentient beings. It's a common resource. So my dear friends, it's a wrong attitude to practice ownership for the things which are not ours. And this attitude of ownership creates all the evils on earth. All the violence, all the dishonesty, all the bigotry, and all the discrimination, and all those great idealisms, the problems of idealism, saying we are the chosen people, we are chosen for this work. No, dear friends, no. Everyone is equal. Everyone has to be equal. Because God made the man in his own image. And how could one image be bad and one image can be chosen? When God has done that, aren't we abusing God by saying we are chosen people? So my dear friends, let's practice the attitude of renunciation through practicing the attitude of custodianship. And I'm not talking in air. There had been many historical examples in the wisdom tradition of ancient India. And I want to recall and I want to remind everybody here that the kingdom of Mewar in Rajasthan, and the very first progenitor was Bappa Rawal. And Bappa Rawal was the one whose mother had to abandon the old kingdom because it was attacked by the coming hordes of the Middle East, and she had to run away when she was pregnant, and she gave birth to Bappa Rawal in the hills of Mewar in Rajasthan, southern Rajasthan. My dear friends, long story, but let me tell you that Bappa Rawal was the first one who established the kingdom with the attitude of custodianship. And he said, when he became the king, he said, I'm not the king. I rule on behalf of Lord Shiva. And he was the great disciple of Harit Rishi, the Maharishi Harit Rishi, who gave this theory of custodianship. And I want to pay my respects to that great wise Rishi. Harit Rishi was his name, the custodianship. So we have a choice to practice renunciation through custodianship. And my dear friends, the time when you practice custodianship, the attitude of custodianship, and practice renunciation, believe me, the true meaning of Lord Krishna's mantra in Bhagavad Gita when he says, don't worry about the result. Be happy and do your karma. Karmanyevadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. Don't worry about the result. do your karma. So one can become a true karma yogi by practicing the attitude of custodianship without any conflicts with our own body, without any conflicts of bigotry, dishonesty, justifications. We don't need to do that. And we could respect our body because our body is the microcosm. So, the custodianship, the second, to become the witness of God's glory on earth is the greatest fortune for a human being. So that's the second attitude. The first is custodianship. The second, to become the witness of God's glory on earth is the greatest fortune. And the third, to become the great disciple and the student of Mother Nature, which is known as mimicry, in other words. But we don't need to do mimicry. We can still learn the wisdom from Mother Nature. The Mother Nature is the greatest guru on earth. So my dear friends and my brothers and sisters, try to be the student of Mother Nature. And along with Mother Nature, we have another great guru, and that is the life principle. Have a look at the life principle, the way life principle is trying to teach us the evolutionary wisdom. So let's become the student of evolutionary wisdom through life principle. So, custodianship. The second, witness, to become the witness of the glory of God and become the student of Mother Nature and life principle. And then fourth, we should practice the energy efficiency. Take minimum from outside, from the environment. That's the definition of a living being, that we exchange energy with the outside environment. So take minimum and try to give maximum beautiful goodness, the universal empathy and universal goodwill and universal love and all-inclusive, unconditional compassion, and fill up the whole biosphere. What a big deal. What it goes from my pocket to practice that attitude. My dear friends, nothing really, practically. It's only my poverty that I don't practice it. And I don't have to be that poor when I know that I'm so rich. I represent the whole universe. I represent the whole macrocosmos. And I am the result, and I am the example, and I am the representative of the whole macrocosmos, the whole universe. What a gift. What a hope and what a charity I receive from the great God, the great Lord, who loved us so much that He gave us the whole heaven, the Garden of Eden, earth, and said, and He disappeared. He said, my children, do what you want to do. Don't we have the cosmic responsibility to take care of the earth because God left that garden to us? Don't we have responsibility towards every other sentient being because we have received so much gift of experiential wisdom, the genetic lineage, the wisdom lineage from genetics, the genome. We received all the wisdom. And also, the humanity, today's humanity, our wisdom is the product of many, many millions of years of experiential wisdom of all these sentient beings who contributed to our genome. My dear friends and my brothers and sisters, let's practice the attitude of custodianship here on earth and be happy. You don't have to throw away your wealth and your house and your possessions, but we could still practice the attitude of custodianship so that our mind doesn't become so possessive. Thank you very much and have a very beautiful morning. My brothers and sisters and my friends, let's be the custodian upon earth of God and cosmic representative of the God here on earth, now and here. Thank you very much.